why don't we go ahead and get started, and then we can update folks if they join us a little bit late. And thank you, the interpreter, for being and joining us today. So at the bottom of your screen, you can select your preference interpretation language, English or Spanish. And thank you for being here this morning. We appreciate it. So welcome to all of you. I hope all of you are doing well. I can't believe it's almost the end of April already, and we're approaching the mid-year soon, and the summer not too far away. But welcome. It's good to see all of you. Our first item is the approval of the minutes from our March 17th meeting last month. I hope you had an opportunity. Thank you, Luis, once again for putting those together for us. So can I get an approval on or if there's any questions or comments? If not, then if I could get a approval on the minutes for our last month's meeting.
I move to approve.
Yeah, even though I came on a little bit late, I caught most of the meeting, so I'll do a second on that.
Great, thank you very much. I'm assuming we're all in favor of that. So thank you, Dave and Gabino, for the second. And we'll move on to item number 3. And I'll turn it over to Dr. Gabino Aguirre for an update.
Yes, thank you, Jack. And it's always good to see, folks working on this campaign. So there's, the report from Public Health is that the numbers continue to be stable. The case rate is 5 per 100,000. This is like last week's. The positivity rate is 2%. So of those that report that go for testing, 2% of those are showing positives. And hospitals, there's 6 folks in the hospital with 1 in ICU. And so compared to where we were before, that's very good news. So the BA2, which is Omicron 2, is here, but it doesn't seem to be increasing. Although when you hear about this across the country, especially on the East Coast, and then in some countries in Asia, it's really hitting hard. So for us, it seems to be not increasing, so that's great news. As far as masking is concerned, even though there's some controversy between the federal administration, Biden administration, and some of the agencies, and then of course this judge declared that masking was not required, and this is a decision that was going to be impacting the whole country, then we expect that the Biden administration is going to appeal that. But here locally, as far as masking is concerned, it's still recommended indoors. And for some of us, we wear masks even outdoors, right? Because for one, you want to be protective, especially of those that are not vaccinated yet, including really young children under 5 years of age. And then, of course, we have immunocompromised individuals that live amongst us, and we have to be cognizant of their safety as well. So masking is still being recommended indoors. So as far as the emphasis right now, in addition to working with children 5 and older and encouraging their vaccination, we're also encouraging everybody to 50 and older and who are immunocompromised to get their second booster. And these second boosters are available at most pharmacies across the state, and you can register. I just myself am going to get mine next week, but it's an online registration process. It's pretty straightforward. It takes about 3 or 4 minutes to get through it. And these boosters are available throughout the county. So let's see, what else?
Hey, Gabino, can I ask you a question? It's
Yes.
actually a comment. When I got my first booster in November, mid-November, I didn't have to register. I just walked right into our local Rite Aid in Oxnard, and
Yeah.
Yeah, so there was no registration required. I just,
Yeah,
he asked me if I wanted a booster, and of course I said yes, so.
yeah, yeah. All you needed to do was show your card that you had, and they were checking on the date, making sure you got the second one and then the date. So here, what they ask is a series of questions of, first of all, what was the date of your last booster or your last shot? Uh, how you're feeling right now, whether you've been ill with diarrhea, with headaches, with body pain. All of these are a series of questions that they ask you just to make sure, I think, that you're not ill right now, and also to highlight those areas that might be a concern to a pharmacist in terms of giving you the right booster. They also ask you what which medication or which vaccine you took previously. And even though it's okay to mix, I think we're trying to stay within that same string of vaccines. So yeah, and then of course they ask you how old you are and whether you're immunocompromised, and then they ask you a whole series of whether you've had serious allergic reactions to, 5 or 6 different treatments that they're on the list. So it just, I think it's almost like going to a doctor and getting an okay from them. So I think this is what that series of questions is looking at. If there's somebody who presents a case that might be of concern, then of course they'll follow up on that.
And where did you register at? Is there a particular link?
Yeah, let me look for that. I have it on my phone and I'll put it in the chat right now.
Okay, thank you. That
Yeah.
way we can share it with others.
Sure.
Thank you.
I had a question too. Yeah, I don't know if you know this, but it's regarding the mask requirement on public transportation, which has been suspended at the federal level. Do you know if states have any power to continue that, even if the feds are not?
I think that the way the law works is that you can be, I think, stricter, but you can't be less than what is being mandated. So in this case, if the law says that you need to mask it on travel, then that's what it is. However, I don't think that's being followed consistently across the board. And I think that there are some states, some of them that are more conservative than others, that will relax those or make them even more stricter than what's being recommended right now. So I know that's a wishy-washy answer, Dave, but there it is.
Yeah, that's the reality. Well, thanks. Yeah, it's complicated.
So Dave, too, from what I was reading, individual businesses can also be stricter. So some airlines can be stricter and require masking on their planes.
I was aware of that. It sounds like
Yeah.
most of the major ones are not
Yeah,
planning to.
yeah.
Now in schools along that line, Dave, when I asked my granddaughter who's at high school, whether the kids are masking, and they have some kids that are absolutely not masking, but the great majority of children are continuing to wear masks indoors, as do most, I think, all of the staff as well.
Right. That's good news.
Gabino, do you know for the event today if that'll be honored in terms of masking indoors? They're anticipating a large number of attendees today.
Yeah, I think that they require you to be vaccinated. However, I don't know if they're going to go with the mask requirement. However, I think that it's something that I will ask the organizers to advise the group about that because, of course, we want to be as safe as we can be. So when I get there, Jack, and you could make this point yourself as well, but I'm going to ask the organizers to find out about that and to make our own recommendation, being that we're on this campaign.
Yes, I was thinking that as well. So I'll be arriving early today. So I was thinking of doing the same thing. So thank you for also following up on that. Gabino, do you have any updates on the pediatric vaccine for younger children? Have you heard anything, any updates?
Just that they are being provided here and there at various locations, and they require pre-registration, but I don't have the specifics on where those might be. This is where Sara Rivera comes in, and because they're the ones that are in charge of that. So I'll find out and I will get back to you guys.
Great. Are there any other questions for Gabino? Always great information you provide us, Gabino. Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome.
So our next topic is, as you can see on the agenda, is item Lorena. Welcome, Lorena. Good to see you.
Good morning. Sorry I'm late.
No problem. We're glad you're here. Our next item, we wanted to have a discussion about the possibilities of collaborating, if interested, in a pediatric vaccine pop-up clinic. I know, Luis, you've had some conversations with a few local community-based organizations who have expressed some interest and desire to collaborate to maybe coordinate a pediatric vaccine pop-up clinic. And we've also been talking with our two program directors at CDR, and we're exploring the possibility of, with the collaboration of these entities that have contacted Luis and I that are interested, maybe we could partner and organize a pediatric vaccine clinic before the end of June. And so, Luis, I don't know if you have additional specifics that you can add to this conversation, kind of just to get us started and start thinking about if there's any interest in participation and or promoting the event if we are successful in organizing it in the near future.
Sure. There was, we've been in contact with Yadedi and even Sarah and just anyone in Ventura County Public Health about setting up a pop-up clinic at CDR. We have a lot of space. It would be very convenient for a lot of people to be able to either drive through there or park and get out there. But in the past, we were going to collaborate with Javier Gomez at the Enlaquech Center. We're also going to collaborate with El Concilio. We had contacted a couple of other organizations as well. It didn't happen, but recently we were sent a survey to see if we would also be interested in hosting a pop-up clinic for the vaccine when it's available for children 5 and under. And so we're just kind of waiting on that. I know they were hoping that vaccine would have been available by this time, but it hasn't. I just read an article this morning saying that it probably won't be available until after June or sometime in June, possibly. So that was kind of where we're at for now. Jack and I had talked about, along with some of the staff here at CDR, about maybe waiting until that becomes available. I mean, that's perfect for our target of families and 0 to 5 with children, and maybe even collaborate with First 5 of Ventura County. So we're just kind of waiting on that and hoping that that's something that we would be able to do. If it happens after June, the possibilities of still doing it, I think, are very high because there's possibly some additional funding that would become available, whether it's through BCCF or through some other source. But we're just kind of waiting to see what is going to happen with that vaccine and when it will become available. And I'm sure partnering with other organizations, any of the other CBOs that are a part of all of the work that we've been doing, I'm sure we'll be able to get some people to partner with, including maybe even, Poder Popular or anyone else Dr. Gavino, to kind of help
Yeah.
out. And we would love to be able to do it at CDR because it's just it's got a really good site and like I said, a lot of space and a lot of parking. And I think it'll work out really well.
Yeah,
Yeah, and it especially aligns obviously well with our program, especially for the Head Start and early Head Start program that, you know, the early Head Start program serves pregnant moms with children 0 to 3. And then, of course, our preschool program is specifically targeting 4-year-olds, but there are a few 3-year-olds also enrolled. And so we have 27 preschool centers located throughout Ventura County. But if we were able to coordinate this event with our community partners, then, and I agree with Luis, although our funding period and term ends at the end of June, we think that we could, you know, we would work with our program directors and get that information out to families that are enrolled in our Head Start and early Head Start programs, and then also target our children that we partner with, our family child care providers and centers that serve subsidized child care children. So there's definitely a pipeline to promote the pediatric vaccine clinic if we were to host it here. But we would welcome any support, interests to participate and or promote it with your respective clients and clientele that you serve. So thoughts, ideas?
yeah, we can follow up with Sara and her team to see when those dates might be available and what the requirements might be in terms of pre-registration or you know, so. And then, of course, because we're meeting every Monday with the whole team, then we can ask everybody to promote it.
Good idea.
Dr. Aguirre, just a quick question. Do you think there would be an extension of the outreach work beyond June at this point, or are you still waiting on?
As far as funding is concerned, that's a question, especially if the numbers keep trending down. But there are, you know, folks like here at Poder Popular, you know, the safety of promotoras that are working with us will require that we continue to follow the protocols as closely as we can. But you know, and also the allocation, the round 3 allocation that we made, I think there's like, I think maybe $5,000 or $6,000 that are left. So if there's some cost involved in setting up this additional opportunity, then I think we could approach VCCF to shake loose some of that funding to cover it, if it's for printing or, you know, outreach, whatever that is.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Yeah.
I think this is a really great idea, especially because you're targeting the younger children to be able to have a bigger event, like you say, your space accommodates that, to be able to reach out to even like the pregnancy center or other organizations that specifically work with young moms. I know, like, for example, our Hope program at our schools, they're familiar with CDR and some of those, you know, organizations that they're comfortable, and they'd be easier to be able to have them attend and at least ask for information if they're not ready to get their kids vaccinated. So definitely a good opportunity to reach out to those specific types of organizations that can join the efforts.
Yeah, that's a great idea. Gabino, you mentioned something about pre-registration for the pop-up clinic and the need to follow up with Sarah to talk about that a little bit further and what kind of planning ahead of time.
Yeah.
But it's your understanding that public health requires that there is a pre-registration step that's done with these pop-up clinics so that they can track?
Yeah. The pre-registration was encouraged by folks, you know, maybe about a month and a half, 2 months ago, because we were having clinics and not very many people were showing up. So there were resources then that were used, but you know, the actual impact was less, right? So what folks started to encourage was, okay, you want us to do a clinic, then go out there and do the canvassing. And this is why there's canvassing going on in communities to pre-register folks, so that you have kind of like a defined number of people that are registered for that, so that they could use their resources a little bit better. So that was that's the pre-registration aspect of it. I'm not sure. I don't think that's being continued, because
Yeah.
because now the effort is to really get folks as vaccinated as possible, of course, especially with their additional second shot or the boosters. So I think the pre-registration might be not required anymore. However, for the second booster, as I mentioned earlier, there's that you have to.
Okay. Yeah, I certainly think that your suggestion of us connecting with SADA and getting some clarification. The reason I asked that question is because we've been hosting personal protective equipment distribution events here at our central office for the child care provider community. And we have found that when we require them to pre-register, it created somewhat of a little bit of a backlog. It didn't flow as easily in the first event compared to the second event. We just promoted it, and then they arrived, and we served about 200 to 300 family childcare providers with distribution of supplies and materials for them. So yeah, I think you're right. We should, if we're thinking about this, the first step is to connect with Sarah and get some of those questions answered. Yeah, great. And of course, we would if we can set a date, we'll share that information with our team here and ask for help to promote it with your respective your clients as well.
Sure.
Great. Gabino, I see there's a question in the chat. I'm wondering if you can respond to that question if you have the information.
Si la pregunta es qué va a pasar con las personas que definitivamente no se quieren vacunar, which means what will happen with those folks that are definitely not willing to get vaccinated. So right now there is no mandate that everybody must be vaccinated. So it's been, in this country, there's that personal choice, that religious exemption, that ethics kind of exemption that people can exercise. So I guess we just have to live with it, because if, of course, they're putting themselves and their families at greater risk for getting sick. So I guess the effect or the result of that not getting vaccinated is that they're exposing themselves and exposing those around them. So no sé si Virgida, usted entendió lo que acabo de decir, but we have a translator that will share that with Virgida. So Virgida, si tiene usted algún otro comentario acerca de su pregunta, por favor, díganos.
Muy bien, gracias. Sí, ellos, lo que puse también en el chat es que ellos le dio el COVID y por esa razón no se quieren vacunar.
Yeah, pues, and Virgida saying, well, they say, some folks will say, since I already had COVID, I don't need to be vaccinated. And the information that we're getting from the public health department and from Dr. Levin is that, even if you got COVID one time, you can get it again and again, so that vaccine protects you, not necessarily from getting it again, but from possibly getting seriously ill, or maybe even, worse than that. So So, lo que pasa, Virgida, es de que las personas que ya les dio COVID una vez, entonces les puede dar una segunda o una tercera vez, ¿verdad? Y si no fue muy seria la infección la primera vez, quizá, más adelante, sí se vaya a poner más seria. So, se recomienda por la parte del Departamento de Salud Pública y el doctor Levin que personas que ya les han dado COVID antes, de todas maneras deben de vacunarse para protegerse más adelante.
Muy bien, muchas gracias por la información.
Ándale pues, sí, gracias a usted.
And thank you for the question. Appreciate it. Okay, we're going to move on to CBO updates. And I wanted Luis to share, as you know, he reported last month that he was collaborating with Dr. Levin and Sarah Rivera and Public Health to create 3 public service announcement videos. And he's completed that collaborative partnership with them. And maybe you can give us a brief update, Luis, about that project and where they can retrieve the PSAs once they're completed. I know one is currently being updated, but if you could give us a brief update regarding your work with public health.
Sure. Thank you, John. So we partner with VCPH and work really closely with Dr. Levin and Sarah Rivera. And Sarah did an amazing job of writing the script, English and Spanish. And I think Dr. Levin is getting used to the way that we work with him. So he just knocked it out really quickly. He's really, really good at it. So there's a series of 3 PSAs. Each one is available in English and Spanish. I sent 4 of them to the group yesterday. So you have the links. They're on YouTube. I think Jackie and Sarah will be making them available through the toolkit on the VC Recovers website as well. So you can always get them that way. But so we're just asking you to, please help to share them, put them in newsletters, share them with your groups, post them on social media. There is one more PSA that was held back because of a few changes that were made for the guidelines. And this is regarding oral medication. The Evusheld and a couple of other ones that were discussed by Dr. Levin are featured in that PSA. It's a little bit more lengthier than the other ones, but we had to hold back on it because some additional guidelines that were added. So we have to go back and record a little bit more with Dr. Levin on Monday with Sarah, and then that one hopefully will be released either later that day on Monday or no later than Tuesday. And we're hoping to do this more regularly with Dr. Levin as things go on, to be able to give updates that are done this way, 2, 3, 4 minute PSAs that we will do with him. But yeah, he does a great job in both languages and he provides some really good information. So please go ahead and share those with everyone. And I will make sure that I send you the 3rd one no later than Monday or Tuesday of next week. And I'm not sure if Jackie or if Sarah or if Nathan from the county have already sent those out to everyone. If they haven't, they will within the next couple of days. So you'll be able to get them that way as well.
Luis, did they, I know that Sarah was very instrumental in preparing the scripts, both in English and Spanish. But when I looked at the PSAs, I could see Luis Huereca touch to the PSAs with the, you integrated the graphics and, to align with the script. I just presume that was your work, but is that what you had? Did you have some creative flexibility to add those graphics in, or was that also directed by public health in terms of what images they wanted to have included in the PSA?
The idea for that was that they would just allow me to insert whatever footage that we can put in there. Some of it is from Ventura County that we did. Some of it is from others, other resources. But all of that was reviewed by Jackie, by a few other people at the county as well. So we wanted to make sure that we match it up with everything that Dr. Levin is talking about in both languages as well. So yeah, definitely they gave me creative freedom to do that,
All right.
but everything needed to be approved first before we released them. So there were quite a few changes that were made.
Yeah.
Everything from a simple shot of somebody removing their mask and where they're removing it. There was a shot in there with somebody removing a mask inside of an airplane, and that had to be removed. But then 2 days later, that got changed. But this other one, because of the guidelines regarding, I think specifically the monoclonal antibodies, there's some information in there that changes, and I guess it changes pretty regularly. So we might have to make some updates as we go along. But we want to make sure we try to, that we get it as perfect as possible before we release the spots.
Well, I want to thank you. Great work and collaboration and partnership. And they're very useful PSAs. They're not very lengthy, but they really carry a real clear message. And then coming from Dr. Levin, of course, so much credibility, and you can see the compassion he has as he's speaking on each of the topics as well. So great job,
Yeah.
Luis.
And we're hoping to do another series when the vaccine becomes available for children 5 and below, because that'll be a whole nother campaign for that one as well.
Sure. Well, thank you for that update as well. Are there any questions about the PSAs? They're forthcoming and Monday, and you may have already received some of them. It sounds like you sent them out yesterday, right, Luis?
Yes, send them out to everyone here at the subcommittee.
Great. Thank you, Luis.
I might add that, Javier Gomez within La Quech is in the process of, you remember during the census, we had these video trucks that came. And I think on 1 or 2 of our caravans, they joined us. Well, anyway, those trucks, I think, rented for like $3,000 a day. And so what Javier Gomez is doing, he has a bus that he goes around town carrying his children. He's putting up 2 large screens on the side of that bus to drive around town. And it seems like the PSAs that you're mentioning that we're talking about right now, those would be great, to drive around town and to expose the communities to those, in addition to all this other work that Julio and Javier are doing in the video area. So that's coming up pretty quick.
Yeah,
Luis,
That's a
thanks.
great idea.
I was just going to ask if you don't mind resending it. I didn't see it in my email, and we always like to share your stuff. Really good work.
Okay. Oh, definitely, Dave. I'll go ahead and do it right after the meeting.
Thanks.
Yeah, we're continuing to collaborate with, Luis is continuing to collaborate with Julio as well, on the Nature NITA and the Sandy Sanitizer series as well. In fact, I was happy to see that one of the PSAs had Sandy and NITA in the background on one of the PSAs. So yeah, great collaboration. Anyone else like to provide an update or share any information with us this morning?
I have one update from the school perspective, which you may have seen in the news, and it's not necessarily what we wanted to hear, but the state had been planning to have a vaccine mandate for students taking effect at the start of the next school year in the fall, but that was always contingent on FDA giving full approval of the vaccine, not just emergency authorization to all the eligible students. And that hasn't happened yet. So that being the case, the state is delaying the student vaccine mandate. So it's not going to happen for the coming school year. They're leaving it as a possibility for the school year after that, but we will have to see how that develops. And of course, the state and Dr. Morales and all of us here are still strongly urging everyone to be vaccinated, including students who are eligible.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's too bad. Yeah, thank you for the update.
I have a quick update, and that was not good news either, because we were thinking, once it becomes a mandate, then we'd have a bigger push to to do more activities with our students, and of course, and keep encouraging them to get vaccinated. We did host the vaccination clinic on March 31st in collaboration with the Farmacia Estrella, which is right next to our Port Hueneme school site. We had about 15 to 20, I'm not sure what the final number was, of people who came by to get vaccinated. Some of our students got vaccinated that day. Some of them came in with their parents, and others just, people from the community. But it was a pretty good turnout. Hopefully, like I said, we were hoping to do it again right before the start of the school year. So that's kind of our next plan, to do one in that area as well.
Thank you, Lorena.
Yeah, and I have a couple of announcements, Jack, if I can
Sure.
share those right now.
Sure.
Every year Poder Popular and Lucha have annual events related to, various efforts around the world. One of those being the International Day of the Woman, Women's International Day, and that happened about a month ago. And this next Saturday on April the 30th, we're celebrating the El Día Internacional del Niño, the International Day of the Child. And at that time, families from throughout the area will gather at Veterans Park between 9 and 2 p.m. And there'll be music, there'll be food, there'll be games, and it's just a gathering of the community around this theme. And then also there's social service agencies, including some COVID agencies that are going to be providing information. So some of our CBOs will be there. So that's on Saturday. And then the following day, on May the 1st, is the annual Cinco de Mayo celebration here in Santa Paula. It'll be right downtown on Mill by the gazebo, which is pretty close to the Ag Museum. And so you're all welcome to come. Poder Popular and Lucha and a couple of other CBOs will have booths, and we'll be passing out COVID information. But it's a great event. It pulls maybe 2,000-3,000 people here to town. There's a car show, there's music, there's dancing, there's for those of you that like to imbibe, there will be something in that area as well. So
That's
so
great.
anyway, the April 30th and May the 1st of those
Bino, do you have any flyers or anything to promote that we could post on our social media pages?
Yes, I just picked up the one for Cinco de Mayo, and I will get the one for Dia del Niño from Maria later on this morning, and I will shoot it to you or to Luis, and then we're going to make those available also at our Monday meeting.
Great. Thank you for that update and announcements. Fun weekend.
Yeah.
Dr. Aguirre, really quick, if somebody wanted to host it or have a table at these events, is it still available? Is it still possible, or is it too late for that?
Yeah, no, for the 30th, if you wanted to have a table, that's at Veterans Park for Dia del Niño, you can just call Maria Jimenez and set that up.
Okay.
And then for the other event, the Cinco de Mayo event on May the 1st, they're renting spots at $65 for a small 10 by 10 canopy space. So, the contact person for that is John Marquez through the Santa Paula Chamber of Commerce.
Okay, that way I can just let our Head Start program know about it, because I know they're always looking for places to set up.
Oh yeah, great. Yes.
Yeah, we're they're canvassing, they're social media posts, they're very, very active right now with enrolling eligible families into our Head Start and early Head Start program. So
Yeah.
for the fall, right around the corner.
Thank you.
Anyone else?
We're a small and mighty team.
Well, we got a lot of great updates, announcements, and really appreciate your time this morning and wish you a great afternoon and rest of the week. And again, thank you for joining us this morning.
All right. Thank you all.
All right. Have a great day.